Let us start. I think this is the 108th episode of the Zoom Rock Room. And I'll tell you what, when they add a fifth week to a month, it makes our time together much longer. It seems like it's like for a year since I saw some of you folks. And we always like to say hi to the co-host. Mel is on here. And how are you doing tonight, Mel?
Doing pretty good.
That's good.
These are acting up for being outside all the time, but doing well.
Yeah, you belong outside all the time.
I am always outside.
Yeah. Yep. So, hey, I figured out this week what the purpose of your little toe is.
Oh, geez. Do I want to know?
Yeah, it's to make sure that you have the furniture placed right in the living room.
That makes so much sense.
That makes sense. That's why we have a little toe, yeah.
That's so true.
And my wife had knee replacement 6 weeks ago, and she's actually doing just super, super, super well. And I've been doing some shopping, and she told me the other week to put ketchup on the shopping list. I did that, but then I couldn't read the rest of the list. So, oh my! I started jogging the other day too. I didn't really want to, but the ice cream truck would not stop.
All the more reason.
Yeah, I know. Just how rude. So anyway, okay. Well, welcome everybody again, and quiz night's never a highly attractive night for participation. We'll explain some rules to you that when we get to that point. But we're going to get into our introduction and get things moving here. So yes, the Zoom Rock Room, always sponsored, hosted by Melanie Tracy and I. And she was actually missing in action back in May due to other commitments with work, and the other time with a problem with the electric where she was. So anyway, always
It's
sponsored
been a
by.
while since I've been here, but I'm happy to be here.
I'm glad to see you here too. It wasn't anything to do with pay, was it?
Oh,
You didn't want to increase in pay or anything, did you?
nope.
At the Zoom Rock Room, always sponsored by Lair Architect, Lake Havasu City, Arizona, and Lair Architect at yahoo.com. It sounds like I'm going to be actually visiting Lake Havasu City in November. And depends on what's going on, we may have to do a Zoom Rock Room right from Lake Havasu City for you. So they always appreciate your emails to them, thanking them for their support. And of course, our buddy Andrew Dirtman's back to work this week. He was digging diamonds last week, Andrew. I think you were, weren't you?
Yep, and I can announce that I got two new Dirtman reports on the way. One's going to be on National Limestone. I'm going to actually take my time with that because I want to get a bunch of footage for that. And then I am working on a new documentary style, basically behind the scenes of Herkimer Diamond Mine. I was able to spend a week there and get a lot of the behind the scenes, what makes it really fun, basically. So instead of coming at it from digging crystals side, even though it was a record-breaking week, we set records. We've never seen the amount of skeletal crystals, massive skeletal quartz crystals come out this week. That's all on film. That'll all be interspersed, but it's a really good behind the scenes look at what happens behind the scenes. So back to you.
We'll look forward to seeing that. I know you've been busy, so anyway, you may visit extremecody.com if you're new to the room. Andrew has a bunch of stuff online, and always putting new stuff on YouTube with his journeys around the territory. Another sponsor we have is Crystal Cove Collective, located up at the Lower Allen Shopping Center in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. And they're also at the Morning Sun Market in York, actually the Thomasville, very close to the Thomasville York Airport. Open on Saturdays and Sundays, but their main store in Camp Hill is super huge, and they got lots of stuff that they're selling between jewelry, fossils, minerals, rocks. They have a huge inventory. So if you're in the Camp Hill area, make sure you stop by 2208 Gettysburg Road and check out Mike and Krista's stuff. Youth Archaeology Week coming up in 2 weeks. I'm proud to announce that I got an email last night from the Friends of the Cadorus Park group that the class is now filled up with 24. So we achieved that goal, and said in just less than 2 weeks we'll be at the Marianne Furnace site doing some excavations, and several of the Zoom Rock Room members actually will be there with us, helping out all or most of the week. There will be a public program on that Thursday, which is June 22nd at 6:30, to come out and visit the youth between the ages of 9 and 12, find out what they are finding, why they are digging where they are, how to do archaeology. They will answer all your questions. So we're really looking forward to it, and be there tomorrow for my last ground penetrating radar day to decide on the location of several squares. That's going to be hopefully good for us to dig in those spots. So getting closer, and now we got a full class, so that's great. This Saturday, Friday and Saturday, folks that are in the Hanover, York County area or Adams County, Experience Cadorus Outdoors, better known as ECO, is taking place. Friday hours are from 4 until 8 p.m. and Saturday 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. It's at the main boat launch on Sinsheim Road. This is the south end of Cadorus State Park. And once you pay your $10 a carload to get in, everything else as far as activities is free. I know they have a rock climbing wall coming. There's a planetarium that's going to be there. They'll be doing some solar observing, fishing. I think there's actually some kayaking going on. There's just a whole host of activities. Me, myself, and I, and Andrew, and several of our cohorts will be there doing the fossil pit. You can come up and dig in the fossil pit and find yourself some fossils to take home with you. And we're going to talk a little archaeology too about as we get ready for Marianne. So Friday and Saturday, Eco at Cadorus State Park, the place to be. This might be a little tough for you to see. It just came into me a couple of hours ago, but I just thought it was just kind of be cool. You may have heard of this recent discovery, but there's a supernova that has shown up in what's called the Pinwheel Galaxy, which is a galaxy is 21 million light years from us, located at the toward the end of the handle of the Big Dipper. And this is actually a photograph taken by a member of the Tri-State Astronomers down in Maryland. And I was in a hurry. I forgot to put his name on the photo. But he did take this in June of 2022. You'll see the star right there, kind of its usual brightness. And May 7th and May 27th, same star over here on the left, of course, has gotten bright because apparently they think the core of this young star has collapsed and it is actually exploding. I believe it was first discovered by astronomers May the 17th. So this picture was only taken 10 days after it was initially found. Last I heard, the brightness was up to magnitude 11, and it's expected to get brighter over the next couple of weeks, from what I read. And if you have a 4.5 inch telescope or larger, you should be able to see it. So anyway, supernova in the Pinwheel Galaxy, or it's also known as M101. And future programs coming up. Our next time we see you in 2 weeks, going to be talking about ground penetrating radar with Peter Weston, who's employed by GeoView Geophysics. He's going to explain how ground penetrating radar is used and all that. July 4th, of course, there is no Zoom Rock Room on that Tuesday. July 18th, RJ Harris from the Harrisburg area will be back to talk to us about the history of the Gap Nickel Mine in Lancaster County. August 1st, not sure what it's going to be yet. Anybody wants to volunteer? I know Steve Lindbergh has told me that he might have something on the stove he might want to show. And August 15th is just going to be a night off. At least I'm going to be up in Schuylkill County at Sweet Arrow Lake doing a program. So we'll just take that night off for our summer break. So that's the schedule to this point. And when we see you next time on June 20th, that'll be day number 2 of archaeology. I can give you a little update about what's going on out there in the field at Marianne Furnace. So that's the end of that. So anyway, hope everybody's kind of enjoying the weather, although most of Pennsylvania is very, as you know, very dry. Some of us did have rain today. We had about 10 drops here at the house today, but up the road about 3 miles, they had trees down and a real mess. So anyway, anybody have anything we want to bring up to the calls? We want to practice this because we're going to do some new regulations with our quiz tonight. Before it was all done by typing. Okay. Tonight, we thought we were going to try to do verbal response. So the way this is going to work is that there's 20 questions and there's 2 clues to each site. These are vacation spots where Mel and I have used geological clues for that site. Remember, geology is everywhere. So it don't matter what site you bring up. We can talk geology about any place, right? So there'll be 2 clues. If you know the answer on the first clue, just shout it out and you should be highlighted on our screen. And we're going to keep score on who has the most. And the top 5 that we have at the end will receive a geological book in the mail from me in the near future. So everybody understand the rules there, okay? It's pretty simple. There's several tough sites. We're not going to make it all easy for you. I mean, there's a couple tough sites. I'm going to do the first 10. Mel's going to do the next 10. And at the end, like I said, we'll add them up. And I always ask the top 5 to email me, which is there in the chat room, my email address, to email me your name and address. I may have it already on a database from earlier winners, but we just want to make sure that we do have your address because we promised you a gift. So if you're ready, Oh, I'm not ready. Oh, maybe I am. Okay. Let's do that again. Oops. Okay. The geologic vacation spots quiz. As I said, geology is everywhere. And there'll be one clue will come up, and then I'll push the button for the second clue in animation. And if you know the answers, everybody unmute yourself that's going to participate. We don't want you to give a right answer and we can't hear you. Okay. And so just keep all the background noise down if you would. So here we go. Number one. This drops 215 feet into the ravine, making it one of the highest waterfalls in the Northeast.
Tectonic Falls, Ithaca.
All right. That's for Steve, right? You got that,
Yep.
Bill? This is a non-rehearsed show, so make sure that we have things. So
I got it. Steve's on the board.
he's on the board. Limestone rock layers are horizontal and contain marine fossils. There it is. If you have never been there, it is a pretty impressive site. I do have a story to a couple of these sites, but the story behind here is that my wife and I went to New York for a long, long weekend because I was going to Watkins Glen for the NASCAR race, and we stopped at the park on a Friday, I believe it was, and there was a young man getting ready to do a geology walk at the parking lot, student at Ithaca University, and I didn't tell him who I was or what I do at first, but my wife and I said, let's go on the walk because we want to go to the waterfall anyway, and that's where he was heading to. So up the trail we came, and he was doing very well, talking about limestone layering and this and that. And then I finally told him, I've been a geologist for 46 years, and he got a little sweaty palms and all that, but he did well. He did well. So yeah, right outside Ithaca, New York, is the park. Here we go. Number two, rock here was deposited by a glacier.
Acadia National Park.
That's not right. Okay. Rock is granite was documented first in 1742.
Plymouth Rock.
Oh, there we go. Steve got that one again.
Oh, that was a guess.
Yeah, Plymouth Rock, actually 1620. Of course, the Pilgrims landed there.
But I like
Supposedly-
Mike's answer.
What'd you say?
I like Mike's answer though.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Bubble Rock at Acadia National Park was a glacier.
that's called erratic. It was brought in by the glacier. Of course, there's no proof that the Pilgrims were even there, as I've come to learn after doing a couple of vacation shows with you all. All right, question number 3. Location is known for its fried eggs.
Luray Caverns.
Yep, who said that? Is that Ken?
It was Ken.
Yeah, it was Ken. Okay, I see you highlighted. Yep, you're right. Discovered in 1878. Location is 54 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. Luray Cavern.
I have a question though for my fellow Pennsylvanians. Do you guys call them fried eggs or do you guys call them dippy eggs?
They're dippy eggs.
Oh yes, thank you, Steve. That's a serious question.
They have to be just not too dippy and loose, but
Mhm.
just right to dip your toast into.
Yes, exactly.
Oh. Yeah, I never used the word dippy. Okay, site became a part of history in 1980.
Mount St. Helens.
Yes, sir. We got the experts in here tonight. A federal geologist and Harry Truman died as a result of the event, the eruption. Johnson was the federal geologist who was actually on top of the mountain when the eruption did happen. His last words were, "Here it comes." So this is kind of what it looks like kind of today. Coming back to life. They're actually the beautiful nature center now built in the area. It gives you a good view of the north face, which is what you're looking at there, the side that expanded, and we've highlighted that before earlier in programs with the videos about the largest landslide in the world happening there. Next one, Susan Hendrickson discovered Sioux here in 1980.
South Dakota, Hill Creek Formation.
All right. We can't give that to you quite yet. You're beating around the bush. Sioux lived 67 million years ago. Resides today in the Field Museum of Natural History in Chicago, and I'm looking for the site name. Everybody's scrambling now for the internet.
I'll say this is a popular, this might be against Jerry's rules, but this is a popular female name in the South.
Oh,
If I go against your rules, Jerry, I apologize.
there are no rules. I'll give you 5 more seconds. Cheyenne River Indian Reservation, South Dakota. That's where Sioux was found. Yep. Sorry. I'm just playing a little tough. Location was first surveyed by Elisha Mitchell in 1835. No response. Here we go. Clue number 2. Elevation of 6,684 feet above sea level. This became the state's first state park.
Mount Mitchell.
You're right. That was Ken. Mount Mitchell, North Carolina. Thought maybe the first clue, the last name, might have given somebody a hit there. If you've never been to Mount Mitchell, it's pretty cool along the Blue Ridge Parkway. But when you get to the top of the Mount Mitchell, you look around, you'll say, well, that peak over there is higher than where I'm standing. So anyway, next one. Travel south to this famous hole in the ground, but you will not gain anything by hopping by it. I started to get creative later in my design here. All right, let's go to number 2. Clue number 2. It supports 4 different ecosystems. It's been on the Zoom Rock Room before. It's in the 3A's book for Florida, specifically in Gainesville, Devil's Mill Hopper. It's a deep sinkhole, which has all those steps going down to the 4 levels of ecosystems. It's actually a pretty neat area. Now state park. When my wife and I visited there, there was a woman who overdosed on pills, and my wife, being a minister, she kind of kept the woman walking and talking to her until the paramedics could arrive. So we we never really knew the outcome there, but we hope she was all right. All right, next one. Think natural about this site that contains a scenic stream. Combined stream erosion and a cave collapse in its origin. Wow. They're quiet.
Lost River State Park in West Virginia.
No. Natural Bridge, Virginia. One of my favorite sites in Virginia. If you've never been there, it's a wonderful place to go. Spent a lot of time there because my grandparents lived 40 miles away in Stanton, Virginia when I was a kid. Saltpeter mine out the trail further. They call it the Lost River. You can hear the water going through the rock, but you can't see it. Beautiful waterfall at the end. This is a classic example of a spit.
Presque Isle.
Presque Isle State Park.
What'd you say, Mike?
Presque Isle State Park.
Presque Isle, okay. Nope.
Cape Cod.
If you were lucky, you will find diamonds here.
Oh,
Cape May.
Woo!
ooh.
You're right.
This is my favorite beach.
Oh my. You have any diamonds from there?
I do. I have a few.
Okay, good. The quartz grains that are well rounded and they disappear when they get wet. That thing in the background behind the hand, that's the famous concrete ship. Mel probably doesn't know the history of the concrete ship.
Mm. What was its name?
Oh my. I forget.
I'm
It was
not
a
100% sure. Not 100% sure. I think it was Atlantis.
Oh, okay. I'll find out by
Yeah.
the end of the show. I'll have an answer for you. That was sticking out of the water much, a lot more when I was a kid. I'm not even sure if it's really visible anymore. Yep, Cape May. Okay, and my last one found within Sequoia National Park. It was first climbed in 1873. Highest point in elevation in the continental United States.
Mount Whitney.
14,494 feet. And it is Mount Whitney. That was Steve also, yep. So that's the first 10, folks.
So I will give you guys the scores. Jerry, if you want to keep the PowerPoint up and I can just read the next couple slides and I'll keep keeping score. But right now, Steve
Okay.
the lead with 4. Ken has 2 and Mike has 1. Those are our leaderboards right now.
It's tight.
So yeah, Jerry, I'll keeping score if you don't mind flipping the slides for me.
I can do that.
I apologize in advance. You guys are very intelligent individuals, and I was told that some of my sites might be a slight challenging. So we will see.
And Steve is right. It's the USS Atlantis.
Atlantis.
ship.
Mm.
Yep. How about that? Okay. Okay, we're going to go to the second half. And these are all designed by Mel.
Yep. So both my clues are at the same time. For those who want to read ahead, that's okay. This site was formed when glaciers receded at the end of the Wisconsin glaciation, the last ice age. And then that second clue on the bottom says water from the newly formed Great Lakes carved a route to the Atlantic Ocean.
Would that be the Niagara Falls?
It would be, Steve. Niagara Falls. And Jerry, if you have any other side comments to any of these locations, please feel free to chime in.
I'm just thinking here, my wife always wanted to put me over the waterfall with a barrel.
Oh, man, you must have done something wrong.
Or when you watch the film up there of that, was it that adult 2 kids that went over the falls in a boat, and I think two of them survived. When you stand at the water's edge, you just imagine that, like, oh my gosh.
You
Scary.
gotta watch you have to watch the classic movie with Marilyn Monroe, I think from the late 1950s, called Niagara.
Oh,
Yeah.
You guys are going to make me not want to visit here.
of course, in 1,000 years, Niagara Falls is going to be a rapids. It's going to collapse in on itself, they tell me. All right, here we go.
All right, next site, the Colorado River began to cut a channel through layers of rock about 5 to 6 million years ago. And then the second clue there, this destination contains or has 4 plateaus and contains mostly horizontal layers of rocks.
Grand Canyon.
Uh-huh, Curtis got it.
Oh,
Yeah, Curtis is on the board.
a new one on the block.
That is the Grand Canyon. Never been, but it's on the bucket list.
If you've never been there, it's we were just talking to my sister-in-law and brother on Memorial Day because we're going on a trip to Arizona, and they were even there like last year, and she didn't realize that you were really just on a plateau. She thought you were up in the mountains, and she was even there already. But you're just on the plateau driving along, and you see a sign for a scenic overlook 1 mile, and you pull off into the parking lot. You don't see anything until you walk, 100 feet over to like the edge, and there it is. All of a sudden, just bam. And nobody in my family said anything for about 2 minutes.
Oh my.
Just had our mouths open. Okay.
This next site, Mike, I have high expectations. The force is deep within the earth, and tectonic activity deeply buried, heated, and squeezed this rock, channeling it into Ellsworth Schist, a metamorphic rock characterized by contorted thin bands of white and gray quartz and feldspar and green chlorite. The second one there, these are pretty detailed. The varied landscape in this area is a result of continuing geological processes. The weathering of granite bridges is one such activity. Large joints or fractures in the rock form square blocks in this area.
I didn't want to shorten this down because it was very detailed.
It is detailed, and I wasn't sure how scientific we were getting with our questions, so I apologize, but feel free to explore the files in your brain. And like I said, hey, I expect big things here.
How about a guess? Grand Canyon of the Gunnison?
Oh, that's a good guess. Not quite.
Ellsworth Schist is a clue. If you know where that's at.
This was a previous guess in this game already.
Acadia National Park?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
He was paying attention.
Oh.
Yep. If you've never been to Arcadia, you need to go to Cadillac Mountain for a sunrise. That's the like the first sunrise in North America. All right. Now, again, we've talked about Arcadia before in several of our programs about the diversified geology it has between the rocks, the glaciers going on. Okay.
So after those pretty detailed clues, a little bit briefer.
Mount Washington.
Steve, I didn't have to read them, but for everyone else, looking at the screen, these clues consist of is the highest peak in the White Mountains and is most prominent peak in the eastern US, and has the most extreme weather in the world. And Steve got it there with Mount Washington.
My side note, ride the Cog Railroad if it's open in the summertime anyway. It's kind of scary, but it's kind of interesting. Or take the 11-mile driving trip up the mountain to the weather observatory, they call it.
Melanie, that's not Mount Washington.
And it's not.
I don't think so either.
No, that's not Mount Washington.
Oh no. Well, surprise, surprise, Google lied to me up front, but thank you for the correction. Do you know what this is then? Is it?
I'd guess Pacific Northwest.
Well, then it surpassed me and Jerry's edits, but that's okay. That's why we have all of you intelligent folks in the Zoom rock room as well with us.
We have to give them an extra point for that, right?
Oh yeah, bonus.
That's not.
We need to educate each other in this.
It almost looks like McKinley, Denali.
Yeah, a little bit, doesn't it?
That was on the McKinley was on no, Mount Rainier was on a NASCAR race Saturday from Oregon. It was in the background. Okay, let's go to the next one.
All right, located on the north flank of a large shield volcano, Medicine Lake volcano. And then the second clue there says has numerous lava tubes, with 27 having marked entrances and developed trails for public access and exploration.
Where's our lava tube experts?
Mount Shasta.
Ooh, I like that guess, but not quite.
Not Craters of the Moon, is it?
Nope.
5 more seconds.
It is the Lava Beds National Monument in California.
That's one of those tough ones we warned you about.
All right, the next location, it's the longest cave in the world.
Mammoth Cave, Kentucky.
Oh, yeah, Curtis got it. That was quick. Yep. So it is the longest cave in the world. Its survey length is about 426 miles. Total length thought to be about 1,000. And the cave runs through about 350 million year old limestone composited of partially shells.
Ooh, main entrance.
Yeah, I've never been there. Okay, next one.
All right, the next one is a very popular site, and over the past 2.2 million years, this location has been shaped by explosive eruptions and profound collapse of the ground, enormously thick lava flows.
Yellowstone.
Absolutely, Steve, it is Yellowstone, finishing out that clue. And then the second clue there is the park is located on top of a super volcano that has erupted 3 times in the past 2.1 million years. It is Yellowstone National Park.
And of course, the home of famous Old Faithful. Okay, next one on board.
All right, again, another kind of big clue here, pretty specific. During the last ice age, about 18,000 to 12,000 years ago, an immersed lake covered in the western edge of Montana. The lake water was trapped by a glacier along the Idaho panhandle that acted as a dam. When the dam melted the entire lake, as much water as in Lake Ontario and Lake Erie combined, was across Idaho, Oregon, and Washington to the sea. It drained in about 2 days. And then the second clue there on the bottom, it is more of a driving route than a hiking trail, but was designated, it was designed as a national park in 2010 and established information centers along this 1,197-mile route for visitors to explore, to examine, to learn more about. It is actually a very widespread, again, along these 3 states that I didn't really know about until I did some research. So we'll see if anyone can guess it.
Glacier National Park?
Close.
But no cigar.
Is it the Columbia River Gorge?
Close again. This might go through there or along there. I'm not entirely sure.
It's not the Scablands, is it?
The bigger hint is in the parentheses there of the second clue. It is more of a driving
route.
trail.
5 more seconds.
This one's tricky. Like I said, I didn't know about it until I researched it, but sounds pretty interesting. The Ice Age Flood Trail. It goes through Washington and Idaho. I'm not sure if anyone has any further information about this drivable trail or what it goes through or around, or but it sounded pretty interesting.
That is the Columbia basalt field. Yep. All right.
All right, next location. A history of extinct life spanning from 6 million to 54 million years ago. It is one of the best records of evolutionary change on Earth. Hiking trails surround the Sheeprock unit, offer visitors a chance to see fossils still in the earth. And the Thomas Cawdon Paleontology Center tells the prehistoric story of life. Some of our Zoom Rock Room people, if you have been with us for a while and tune in every week, might remember talking about this certain place.
Theodore Roosevelt National Park.
Ooh, I like that answer, Ken, but not quite.
The Badlands National Park?
Again, like the answer, but not quite. I don't think it was too long ago, Jerry, we had a visitor speak about this certain location.
I'm thinking it was March or February. Might have been February.
Say fossil beds.
Remember the tour she gave us with the camera?
It was a fantastic tour.
Yep.
All right, this next location, if no one gets this right, I'm going to be pretty hurt. I'm going to admit. It is a part of the ridge and valley province of the Appalachian Mountains. The neighboring Bald Eagle, Hussey, and Shriner Mountains are part of the same sedimentary formation consisting of, from youngest to oldest, Tuscarora Formation quartzite, Juniata Formation shale, and Bald Eagle Formation sandstone. Like I said, I'm going to cry a little if nobody gets this one.
Yeah, I wouldn't even take a chance to edit anything out of here. I get yelled at.
Shenandoah National Park?
I love that park, but a little bit further north.
Bald Eagle, Tussey, and Shiner. 5.
Guys, we are
Um,
Mount Nittany,
Uh,
College, Pennsylvania. I wanted our last location to hit kind of close to home, still in Pennsylvania. As a Penn State alum myself, I couldn't resist.
I'm sorry, I teach at Pitt, so I couldn't mention
Oh.
that name.
Steve. Well, then I hate to tell you, Steve, but I'm gonna have to give the prize to the runner-up.
All right.
Right. Well, that concludes all 20 of those sites, some a little bit easier to guess than others. But here's the final leaderboard. I have been recording on sticky notes. I promise I am being honest. All right. Let's see, in fourth place was Mike with 1, but had several really, really good educational guesses. Did I say third? Yeah, so Mike was in third. Tied for second was Ken and Curtis with 2 correct guesses and several really, really good guesses to other sites. And our first place winner was Steve with 8 points out of this quiz game. So congratulations, Steve. You can take it up with Jerry to get that.
Thank you, thank you.
We have his address already, I think. Yep. All right. I hope we had a little fun there. With that, I'll try to get a picture of Mount Washington next time we get together.
I know. I apologize. You guys have to educate me just as much.
I have one on my
Knowledgeable
computer here.
individuals in this rock room. We are a good community in here.
Mel did a very good job with pronouncing the names of the formations and the rock types. So
I tried my best. I am still a beginner geologist, folks. So please help me with my pronunciation in the future with some of these rock formations. But like I said, I try.
You're coming along nicely.
Not embarrass myself too much.
I do have to tell you a story. This is actually a true story. It happened in the last couple of weeks to me. I meet or I talk to sometimes some pretty strange people. And this particular individual lives in Gettysburg. He's a disabled vet, unfortunately. And he had contacted a jewelry store in York where there's a friend that works there who loves to refer people like him to me. And he called me and he told me that he has a collection of 10 pounds of moon rocks that he has found in Gettysburg. All right, so that was the first hint. And he was on speakerphone. My wife was sitting in the sofa beside me. And then he said, I also have some shale that came from the moon when Japan bombed the moon. And my wife kind of like giggled a little bit. She even knew that, that never happened. But the guy said if I come up and look at the rocks, he would give me the best shale sample from the moon that he has. But that hasn't happened. And he was supposed to send some pictures, but I haven't seen any picture either. So anyway, sometimes it's a little strange and all that. So okay.
Yes, thank you, Mike.
What did I miss? Oh.
Mount Washington.
Oh. Okay. There you go.
Wind speeds were about 74 miles an hour when we were up there that morning.
Wow.
Was it clear or cloudy?
It was clear. It was beautiful.
Oh, wow. You had an exceptional day then.
And I will say you made the comment about doing the Cog Railroad.
Yeah.
If you don't mind driving on twisty roads, the drive is just amazing.
Yeah, I never drove it. I always took the Cog Railroad up. But yeah. It's beautiful. there was a GSA meeting there not too many years ago, right near Mount Washington. The Geological Society had their northeast section meeting there. In fact, that was in March, so it did snow. So I guess I guess I might say if you have a special vacation spot that you'd like to go to, you want to know a little geology about it, you know, send it to us and we'll give you a couple of facts about your special little place.
Or recommendations. We're open to, one of the locations that maybe weren't on that list of 20 that wasn't listed that has great landmarks for geology is also appreciated.
Hey, we almost used the Statue of Liberty because it's made of copper.
Right.
For one thing, but yeah, so I mean we could have done probably 50 if we had more time, but
one for each state.
Yeah, we could have done for one for each state, but not a good time of year for me to be doing that right now. So
they wouldn't want to listen to us for that long either, Jer.
That's probably true. So all right. Gonna be kind of a shortened version tonight, but anybody want to shout out a vacation spot that you'd like to go to?
Or that you are going to this summer.
All right, okay. I know.
Last week in July, I always head down to Western North Carolina to go to the big mineral show at Franklin. We always take a drive up across Great Smoky Mountains from Cherokee down into Gatlinburg, and you go across Newfound Gap, the North Carolina-Tennessee state line. And what's the high point up there? You take the side road, Clingman's Dome. Little 5-mile spur, and then you can walk to the observation platform. That's always pretty neat.
Have you ever gone out to Cades Cove?
Yes, we did the Cades Cove.
Okay.
We did the Cades Cove drive 2 years ago, and it is absolutely wonderful. It's beautiful. I think the road is one way. You go in behind the National Park headquarters are there, a couple of miles outside of Gatlinburg.
Right.
And you drive in, and it's a one-way road, and I forget how many miles it is, but you have to allow, I think, 2-3 hours if you want to stop and see. There's all the streams and waterfalls, and there's old homesteads there and grist mills and
two churches,
right? Yeah, and they had some there were some people there like reenactors in one of the little villages.
Okay.
And they were doing some like colonial crafts. And if you want to see bears in Great Smoky Mountain National Park, that's where you have to go. You have to go to Cades Cove, because we saw multiple bears. They're out in the meadows, and they were up in the trees. And you can tell when you're driving around, you'll see all the cars pulled off on the side of the road up ahead, and everybody's out of their cars looking at the bears. So.
Now Steve's talking to more of my naturalist side. I'm working on my geology side, guys. I promise.
Cades Cove drive is a 12-mile loop.
12, yeah.
25 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's a unique place. It's really neat. Yeah, it's beautiful.
My wife loves it there.
Yeah.
Well, Melanie, you need to go to Prescott State Park up into Lake Erie in Erie County, PA.
I have a list of recommendations that people have given me, but why should I go up there? What are you hinting at? What are they known for?
Well, and I think I know mine's cutting out. If you're into the naturalist side of you, they have mink on the peninsula that you can see sometimes. It is on the eastern flyway for the migrating birds, so you've got all the birds that move up through that area. The interior of the park is just filled with different warblers, and then you have all of the water birds that are on the park as well.
That's terrific.
It is fantastic. It's a sand spit, which is why that was the one answer that I gave whenever Jerry said that. It's a sand spit. As you work your way down along the various hillsides, you drop down old shorelines, prehistoric shorelines of the lake.
That's terrific. All right, well, it's going on the list after this evening.
And I'm going to add to that and give a plug for Mike, because in the spring of 2025, Mike and Amy are probably going to host the National Association of Geoscience Teachers Eastern Section meeting at Presque Isle.
Oh, okay.
Or it will be on Presque Isle. I'm not quite sure where he plans on staying, but that's going to be the spring 2025 meeting. So
yeah.
Cool. Andrew, you haven't given a plug for Mohawk either. Yep. You may not be. Okay. All right. Well, we'll be back with you in 2 weeks from now with ground penetrating radar. And as we asked you before, if you have any questions geologically, don't be afraid to send those in, and somebody will give you an answer, either myself or some of the experts that are in here, and whatnot. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. You want to say anything, Mel? Go ahead.
I don't believe so. Thank you for joining us again this evening. We'll see you here at the end of June. Enjoy the warm weather. Be safe with all the rain that we're about to get, even though it's going to be really, really good that we're getting rain in Pennsylvania. Be safe. And again, thank you for everyone participating and educating everybody in this awesome community we got on here. It's great. I love it.
All right.
yeah, thank you.
We'll see ya. Bye-bye.
We'll talk, Jerry. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.